Well, hello, and yeah, OBS isn't behaving. OBS, why aren't you behaving? There we go. Well, that was a good start. That was a very good start. Yeah, for some reason my shortcuts were. Oh, now it works. For goodness sake. Right. Anyway, yeah, Dyson Sphere program. This is not World of Warships, obviously, but I'm not really feeling up to that at the moment, and frankly, the fact that I'm managing to stream at all at the moment today is, you know, probably a minor miracle at the moment, but anyway. Hey, Clyde. So, yeah, what this is an early access game, as it says right down there, where you basically start off with, like, a shovel, and before you know it, you're making literally a Dyson sphere. Well, not before you know it. Obviously, there's a bit of work to get there. But yeah, it's one of those games where you set up kind of chains of manufacture. It's basically... I don't quite want to say Space Factorio, because Factorio's already kind of like on an alien planet. But yeah, it's sort of like starting at Factorio and ending at Stellaris in terms of its scale. I will turn on the sound cam, by the way. It's not actually there at the moment, but he's it's kind of blocking the the thing. So there we go. So I think what I'll do, actually, I'll start a new game just to begin with, just to show the very basics. But it's like you already kind of know how it's gonna go. You already know how it's gonna go. You can make things like super easy as well, so you never run out of resources, or you can make things super scarce. But we'll just start off with the default. And you can also randomize the starting systems, because you start off with not just one star that you have access to, or one solar system, but a whole cluster of solar systems. So yeah, there's the potential to travel quite far and wide in this game. The vacuum cleaner company. Well, I think that... I don't know if that particular universe. Dyson has anything to do with the Freeman Dyson that came up with
I am your advisor.
The idea of a Dyson sphere. Anyway, this is how you start. You basically have your little rocket ship, which contains your starting drone, and I think the starting planet is always going to be roughly the same. You do have some control here, but not a lot. I think it's basically pre-guided.
As one of Cosmo.
And there's a whole little thing where it's explaining to you why you're here and what you're doing, but
by using the resources here
the translation's not
to provide energy
brilliant.
For the center brain to maintain homeland, starting from scratch. I have chosen a designated planet for you to start the mission, which has necessary resources.
So yeah, this looks very identical to the starting planet I started on in the other save I've got going. So yeah, the land masses are probably going to be different. The distribution will be different. I'm sure that's all randomized, but in terms of what's available, it's basically going to be the same stuff. So it looks like you always start off around the moon of
now you are about to reach
gas
the designated
giant.
Planet.
Can't actually bring up the system view yet. The other game I have has 2 moons, but this only appears to have the single one. Anyway, so we are coming into land, and this is all about mining surface clusters of resources, essentially, at least to start off with. So
this
here you are.
Is Icarus, a lightweight industrial mecha.
You're a robot. You can walk around with the robot.
You
can right-click to have the robot do things.
In this mission, you will manipulate Icarus to travel beyond the stars.
It does have a whole lot of stuff where it explains. Like the tutorial in this game is reasonably good, even if the translation is a bit weird sometimes.
Such as trees, gravel.
So that gave me a bunch of resources.
And hold down Shift and right-click to give a series of commands.
basically nothing we can
You receive several
build at the
items
moment,
after
but we can
recycling
make
the space
basic
capsule.
components out
Click
of
the inventory button
stuff we
in the
can
lower
mine.
right
So we've
corner
got
of the screen
available
to
copper,
open the cabin to view them.
iron, stone, and around somewhere there will be both oil and coal are the other major things. Now they deliberately restrict you with one important element on your starting planet, which is titanium.
You can hold down mouse middle button drag. to
And
rotate
the only way you
angle
can
of
get
view,
titanium to
or
start
slide
with
the
is
mouse
from these
to
random
zoom in and
surface
out.
rocks, of which there are, you know, a finite supply, and not every rock has it. So this is just sort of stone apparently. So none of those have titanium. That possibly, yeah, that's got some titanium. The game will let you get stuff that you can't actually use yet, so we can't actually do anything without titanium ore. So what this game really is about fundamentally is energy. And it even starts you off with the idea that you need energy to keep going. Even just your mech needs energy. And although you get a couple of these advanced fuel rods to start with, you don't get the ability to make those until quite a bit later. So actually, that's the
Click the
screen.
technology tree
We'll
button
put that
at the
in there,
bottom right
and
of
you
the
can see
screen
that actually
to open the
will
technology tree
fill up the
and
robot's
activate
energy
your
bar. You
research.
can still move around if the robot runs out of energy, because it's got a small amount of energy generation itself. But to start off with, you need to basically harvest trees. And then later on, once you've found some coal, you can use that, and then you can turn the coal into better energy sources, and then you've got oil, and you can split oil into petroleum and hydrogen, and then you can make fuel cells, and you see how this game goes, right? It's one of those sorts of games. And the only thing I think that sets this apart particularly from other similar sorts of games is that the scope is rather different. You are building up to something rather bigger than most other games go for. So each of these things you do, it's costing the energy, it's costing the robot energy. So every time you do something, it'll use up a bit of your energy source. So energy is always a concern just for what you're doing, but also once you start setting up buildings and manufacturing chains and all that jazz, then obviously energy becomes very important there as well, especially before you can start utilizing any of the sun's energy. Although having said that, you kind of can early on, in that you are able to build solar panels. So what we need to do to start off with is electromagnetism. This is our very first thing we can research. I think all of the mech upgrades require... Oh no, a couple of them we can do with just materials. The very basic ones you can upgrade with materials, but then you start to need specific research things. So we'll go with this. Electromagnetism. So this is mining machine, power pylons, and wind turbines, and that costs 10 magnets. Now, at the moment, we don't have any kind of automatic research set up, and we don't have any magnets or any magnetic coils. Now, we do have magnets and we do have copper, so it's given me some of those to start with. So I can make 5 of those at most. You can only ever make batches of 10 in your kind of onboard manufactory. So what I need is basically iron ore, and I think we probably already have enough copper, because you need iron ore to make magnets. I don't think it lets you build RTGs in this game. So there we go, that researched really quickly. So having...
You have created a mining machine to achieve ore collecting automation.
where are we? Research.
Pick it up from the inventory, or select it on gathering of construction menu to build it.
Basic assembling, basic logistics. So let's go with basic logistics next. So we need iron to make those. And then circuits, you'd think are advanced, but actually it's just copper and iron ingots. I think we need some copper ore now. Oh no, yeah, I saw about that. Yeah, Legends is getting carriers, so... Yeah. Thank you very much for the resub there, Isham Gamer. Oh no, we've dragged Jedi into the void. Indeed. I've been playing this a fair bit. There are other reasons why I studiously avoided games like Factorio. And, I don't have enough to make. Let's make 2 of those while we're busy. See, it will... You don't have to make the individual components, which is nice. You can just click on a thing, and as long as you've got the materials to make the more complex components, it will just step through the stages to do it. So that's quite handy. Right, how are we for... Right, we've probably got enough copper. Once we set up mining machines, this will be a lot easier. And we're down to our last fuel rod as well, so let's put in the logs, which don't, you know, they don't make a good fuel source, but they are what you have readily available to start with. Yeah, I think this has many of the same everything as Factorio, and there's a lot that, like, you start off and everything. You'll see how messy my my more advanced save game is. I can probably spend a lot of time optimizing and making things neater. Right, so more circuits. Wish there was a way to, you know, like control click or shift click to change increments quicker than that, but never mind. So let's make some circuit boards. And as you research some of the basic stuff, it will give you a couple of freebies. So it's given me, like, you know, 1 wind turbine just to start with, for example.
Wind turbine. You have established your first power grid. So, not all power facilities.
There we go. And you have little drones that fly out and build stuff.
To extend the area of the power grid. You can use the R key to rotate the mining machine for covering more veins. The more veins covered, the faster the ores will be gathered.
I don't have to clear this stuff out. It will just kind of replace it automatically. But for now, I might as well just get the extra bit of fuel. And with the inefficiency of the kind of fuel sources I have overall, because it's switched to using the wood now, actually, it always goes from
one of your production
side to that side.
Is not powered.
It's actually, you know, it's an inefficient enough fuel source that I'm still losing energy as I'm moving around. Right, so we need...
You have received the sorter and the conveyor belt.
Probably another one. The conveyor belt is quite important. Early game, everything is basically moved around via conveyor belt. Later on, things get a bit more complicated.
To the smelter for automatic smelting.
Right, so... we need more magnets. And what are we out of now? Iron ore. At least got power.
You have done building the first power transmission facility, Tesla Tower. It can carry out short-distance wireless power transmission and expand the power supply area of the power grid. Click on it to view the current power grid.
Right, so we are currently, as you can see, absolutely not meeting our demand. You can also see information through this. It's got quite a nice stats panel, so you can see your production versus consumption kind of globally, but it doesn't necessarily tell you production versus consumption kind of locally within a set area, which might be nice sometimes. So at the moment we are trying to consume way more than we're producing, so we're going to need a whole bunch more of these, which requires us to... So a lot of the early game is just, you know, this. I'll get the very basic setup and then I'll switch to my much more advanced save. Yeah, pocket crafting is useful, so there we go. We can now get smelters, and assemblers are the other thing that we particularly want. So circuit boards we've got, and we then need a bunch of those. So, also we need, how are we doing for making more? Wind turbines. That's fine. One thing that can get a bit messy is the inventory generally, because it doesn't necessarily auto stack things. Well, there we go. It's giving me some smelters to start with, so I don't actually have to make any, which is nice. So you'll end up with like 2 stacks of 50 of the same thing sat next to each other, which can be a bit annoying when you're trying to manage your inventory space. But, you know, early access, I'm sure there are a lot of little quality of life things that will improve. Right, we can now make storage as well, which that's another important basic component. Right, is there anything left that we can research without needing the actual research items? I don't think so. So these things here, this is your basic research glowy blue blob. They do glow. And you get basically more advanced ones, and you kind of have a whole chain of research items that you need. So I think this is among the last. You can do some very, very basic upgrades on the actual mech. So that will increase the amount of core energy. So that's kind of like the amount of energy you can hold. So that's just basic copper and iron plates. We've also now plonked down these wind turbines we've made. And energy generation items just chain themselves up automatically in terms of like energy grid. Right, so how are we doing? Okay, that's absolutely fine. Right, these are in idle mode at the moment, so they're because they're not outputting to anything, they're just sat there. In fact, I don't even need to sit and grind stuff anymore. I could just take the stuff straight out of the mine. I didn't even think of that. So that's fine. So we can just, what is it, 20 of those? And 20 copper plates. Right, so basic automation, conveyor belt goes into, you don't have to go into storage, but storage containers, you know, they can be kind of useful. Control click in an empty space. Ah, there's a sort button, is there? Oh, okay. Well, there's a thing I missed. Apparently. It was me manually been fiddling around with it the entire time when I didn't have to. So that's all queued up. We can also queue up some more of these because we're going to need a whole bunch more of those. Which is fine, but we can start to lay down some of the ones we've got already. Oh, yeah, we have to wait for that to actually build. There we go, so that's one there.
You built a storage, which can be used to store cargo. You can manually store or use the sorter to automatically stock the cargo.
So let's...
When putting a conveyor,
yeah, there's probably, I mean, this is our game all about efficiencies and, like, you know, this isn't me still learning my way around this. But in this case, we are... There we go, getting...
Press keypad 0 to reset the construction height of the conveyor belt to the ground. If you don't want the conveyor belt to be attached to the belt, you can try holding down
we are
the shift.
not actually doing anything with this iron ore at the moment, though, but it'll... Once this thing is powered...
Facilities. It will automatically transport them as long
which
as
is going to take a little moment to clear the queue. Once this is powered, it'll just suck in the iron ore as quickly as the sorter can pull it in, basically. I'll do one over here as well. Now you do get better versions of these later on with the tech tree, but for now you're stuck with the basics. So we can upgrade that. That requires steel, which we don't have yet. That requires stuff we don't have yet. I don't think we've found coal yet. Vertical construction, veins utilization. You can queue up research stuff, which is fine. So we'll get that queued up. In fact, we'll actually have that as our next thing we want to research. So magnets. That's fine, or electromagnetic coils, or whatever they're called. There's already guides for this game on, you know, energy production and consumption, and like this is very much one of those games where you could go all in on just optimizing everything. So this isn't going in very fast at the moment. This is probably producing quicker than it can go in, and we could set up multiple inputs for now. Which is not terribly efficient energy-wise, probably, but you know, it's fine. This is definitely a messy stopgap. Later on, you get proper splitters and all kinds of things you can use. Right, so now we can start thinking about setting up manufacturing. So what we can do, I think it's just smelters we need, so we can get copper plates on the go. We can get iron plates on the go, but we can also get
smelter,
magnets on the go as well.
Such as iron ingots and copper ingots automatically.
Right, and that's our research
While you want to
lab.
make the raw materials and products get in and out of it autonomously.
That's how we start to get research going automatically, but we won't put that down just yet. We need a couple more of those, and let's get some more of those going for good measure, and I can just pull some more of this into my inventory for the time being. That's fine, and what we're going to be doing is just more of these. I'll get some more storages going as well. And we're also going to need a bunch more of those sorters. Let's just make like 10 of those. Right, is there anything else that's super easy to research right now? No, I can't even make motors, so I can't even get the thing that requires motors. Steel we can't get yet. Drive engine we could get if we could get some coal. Where is some coal? We could manually collect some coal at the moment. That wouldn't be a problem. Hey, Hilty. You have Hilty to blame / thank for me getting sucked into this game, because he's the one that gifted it to me on Steam. That's iron, that's copper, that's copper. There is you later on get upgrades that let you see where things are, and there's like various overlays that are quite handy potentially. So let's put that there.
You have a building without recipe set.
Right, we actually have to tell these things what to build, that's true. So we'll have that build the magnets,
use the less than key to
have
copy the
that
recipe,
build
and the greater
iron
than key
plates,
to paste the next
and
building
we'll have
that needs
that
to set
build
the same recipe.
copper.
After selecting the recipe, you can use the less than key to copy the recipe, and the greater than key to paste the next building that needs to set the same recipe.
Right, that's probably now unnecessary now that we've got rid of that backlog, so we'll just pull that out. And we can even dump stuff straight in there potentially. And then we need to actually put the stuff in. And then I should clear that rock out, because you never know when the rocks are going to have titanium ore, and that really is quite precious to start with. Until you get the ability to go to other planets. In fact, you know what? We can put that a bit closer, and then you kind of do away with the need for any belts. You can just have the sorter go straight from the machine into storage. You can also, you can use this, I think 3 squares is the maximum the sorters can reach, and you can actually use that to set up like timings. M for map. Oh, that's true. Well, we're in kind of the dark side at the moment.
In the planet view mode, you can hold down the middle mouse button, drag, rotate the angle of view,
there is some
and
coal.
hold down the right mouse button, drag
Right.
to roll
Is
the
that
angle
coal?
of view. Press N
That's
key
coal.
to
How
point to
far
the
is
front
that?
to the North Pole.
That's not too far.
In the planet view mode, slide the mouse wheel to enter the star map mode.
Right, while that's sitting producing stuff, I'll just grab some stuff. At the moment we're definitely producing kind of more ores than we need, but you know, these are finite sources, at least in this difficulty setting. You can set it so the resources are infinite if you truly want to have the sandbox experience. But this early part of the game, it's really all about getting to where you can exploit oil, because I think oil is always infinite. I'm not 100% sure. I miss being able to fly. You get the unlock the ability to fly. Before that point, you have to walk everywhere. In-game's kind of loud. Okay. I'll turn that down to about 30%. There's no, I mean, the one thing that does feel a bit daft is there's no, it's not like, say, Surviving Mars where you have underground deposits that you're exploiting. Which direction was it? It's really... oh, it's kind of more that way, right. It's really all on the surface, basically. I have no idea where Sam is, by the way. Oh, he's on the sofa at the moment. Okay. Is the bed not good enough for you, Sam? Apparently not. He's had a treat today. I cracked open a tin of tuna earlier for what I was having with lunch, and what to make lunch with, and he got the brine. And you'd think he'd be all, you know, terribly grateful, but no. That's just what he expects every day, I suppose. Right, so we could... Like, there's nothing to stop me setting up a massive conveyor belt taking the coal all the way over there, really. Question is, do I have enough resources to make enough conveyor belt at the moment? Probably not. Can at least set up a gatherer, a miner, to output it into a storage for the time being. Which will require building some energy. So you can use coal as just a raw energy source, but it is finite. You can also turn it into is it energetic carbon, but later on you can get carbon from the kind of derivative process of oil processing. Oh, you just wait till you see the clutter. Guilty. Just wait till you see the clutter. The Sam cam has no Sam. Hang on, I'll see if I can persuade him. come on then, Your Majesty. Oh. I don't think he's very pleased with me, you know. I mean, disturbed his royal beauty sleep, but yeah, he's so fluffy. Like, I was looking back at pictures of when I first got him, and he has gotten really fluffy. I think it's just like a winter coat. We'll see if he gets less fluffy as we go back towards warmer weather. But I have to say, I am enjoying the very fluffy look. Right, core energy will deplete soon. We could... Oh yeah, I haven't anything else to plop in there. We'll just plop in some of that coal, that's fine. Right, so... So, we can now fly, which is much better. Flying is nice.
You have received the ability to fly.
Right, so we want to...
And then use the arrow keys to control mecha movement.
Just try and get as many veins as possible, basically.
150%, with more energy consumed under flight mode. Pressing the Alt key can return the mecha to the ground during the flight.
Right, so this is just going to be very basic, going into a storage for now. And then we'll whiz back over and how is that for... Oh, probably don't even need that much. Put one there. Right, actually we will need another one of those. Get brownouts otherwise. Right, there we go. Futuristic coal-powered mechs, exactly. So there we go, we can fly now. Which does drain your energy rather quickly. I don't think we have thermal plants yet. We need to get research up and going. I can't remember what the research chamber actually... Ah, I know what we can do. We don't even necessarily have to build the research chamber right away, we just have to make these things. So, magnetic coils and circuit boards. So now we need some more of these things. So we're going to need 2? Yes. So we're going to need just one more at the moment. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing there. You can make them manually, but you know, really you want to set up the manufacturing process. And to manufacture these, you actually need the research chamber. If I can find where I've put it. So that is both where you research and where you manufacture research items.
Matrix Lab. You can use it to make super matrices or research technologies that require them to unlock. The super matrices.
So we're going to want to make circuit boards.
You can upload as many super matrices to the center brain as possible.
Brett, with 21 months, thank you very much. And we're going to need magnetic coils. Also browning out on power as well.
So be it, Jedi.
Mixias, thank you very much for the sub as well. How's that doing? Right, so we need... Just take all the copper plates and take all the iron plates for the time being. So you can research out of your inventory.
Jedi.
What would be the next best thing to unlock? Thermal power, maybe? Yeah, I guess. And it will just take any research items I have out of my inventory. But we want to get this done automatically. So it's always going in the background. I'm not using up my inventory slots, basically. So will that cover both? So we'll have that, make those. We'll have that, make circuits. So circuits are just iron and copper. Which is easy enough. Oh. Actually just double click on those if you're out and on things, and it'll do that automatically, which is quite nice. Isham with the bits, thank you very much. Oh, right, so that will start inputting there, and that doesn't have power. I don't know if you ever... it takes a while before you get upgraded, any kind of upgraded power coverage thing, and it actually starts to get very expensive. Right, so we want that to produce energy matrices. So then we need, what is it, copper and magnets. We need more of those. So I'll just have that make a bunch in the background. We could probably also set up a manufacturer thing to make those cogs, but we're not going to bother with that just now. So what we'll do is that will actually take that rock out. Well, actually, I don't know why I'm being so careful about the rocks. It's not like I'm planning to keep this save through going particularly. It's just to demonstrate the early game. It's a bit weird how the belts just like float like that, but they do. So I am going to run out of energy very soon, so I'll need to like fly back over and grab some coal or something. But, you know, early access is going to lead to some things not maybe quite having the polish you would expect. Right, totally out of energy, and we're using energy, so now I'm going very slow. Actually, cancel that, cancel that. You do get a tiny amount of core energy generation, but it's, which can be upgraded, but it's not a lot. And you do unlock a kind of pylon for longer distance transmission that eventually you can like charge your own thing up with. Right, we're going to have to get some trees to get some emergency power, basically. Can't even get the construction bots to put stuff down at the moment. Screen, so that will give me a bit of energy generation, but it's not going to be a lot. Basically want just enough to fly over with and grab a bunch of coal. Ooh, organic crystals. Now those are kind of really useful later on, but for now we're just going to put that in the fuel chamber. can see as basic fuel sources, yeah, they don't give you a lot. Right, is that enough to manufacture a pylon? Put that down there. Okay, that's going to put magnets out there. Nope. Really didn't have a lot left. To at least walk at full speed. Oh yeah, that's getting fairly hyped up, isn't it? Right, let's just take all of that coal. Do we have the recipe yet for energetic carbon or whatever it's called? I don't think we do. We actually have a crap ton of belts here, so I might as well just bring the coal a bit closer. Hype train! I don't know what a hype train thing is, but apparently we have a hype train going. Yeah, graphite is definitely the superior energy source. And then once you can start making graphite from oil and hydrogen as well. Alright, we'll need another box at the other end to put this stuff in. Right, oh, right. That's fine. Coal's a far superior energy source, but you can see even then it's not. Like, it tells you exactly how much you get. So 2.7 megajoules versus 500 kilojoules. 1.5 megajoules is not bad. 1.8 megajoules. A hype ferry. Right, this is just so I have convenient access to fuel for this early portion of the game. Yeah, graphite is that's kind of like your good mid-game energy. And then once you can start making hydrogen fuel rods, once you've got access to a steady supply of, what is it, hydrogen and titanium, they give you a heck of a lot as well. Right, that needs energy, of course. Might as well make a few more of those. Right, so hopefully not going to run out of that anytime soon. And the energy grid is doing okay for now. So what did that need? That needed circuit boards, and so that just requires me bringing the things to the thing. Now if I was doing this properly, I'd again put some more storage in there so I can like grab circuit boards and magnets and stuff, so I'm not having to constantly make them. But we're not doing things properly. We're just doing things demonstratively. I could even set up a machine that will automatically make belts for me. Because you can have things manufacture buildings just as easily as materials. Oh, yes, no, that is the right one. I'm going to need to make another 10 of those. This is already way neater than my initial startup on my main save. Right, so this is going to manufacture these research cubes, but we need another chamber to actually then turn those into usable research. So that's manufacturing those, and then we will put down this over here, and apparently we need yet more energy. Just do a full whack of 10 there, why not? It took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out how to automate this, because for much of the early research tree I was basically doing all this in my inventory. Tesseracts, I mean, you know, they're glowy cubes of glowy research cubeness. That's all you need to know, really. Magic glowy research cubes of different colours. One more left. So what will happen is this will research. This will come in automatically. Later on you can also stack these for kind of greater efficiency. So now we can actually stack up some, queue up some different research options, and we'll go away from there basically. And get things, more complex things manufactured. What I'll do, I guess I'll save this because I might as well. Second game, very descriptive. We'll load my much more advanced game, and you can see where I've got to. And it's just going to be an unholy mess. So this isn't even where I started. So yeah, this is where, I can't remember where exactly where. I kind of started somewhere in this area, and this is what I've ended up with. You can see what I mean about the glowy cubes. So this is the third level of research cubes, which require titanium, which I'm getting from off-planet. We've got all kinds of... We've got flying logistics stations, which are a bit like the drones in Surviving Mars. So instead of putting belts, conveyor belts that span half the planet, you can instead have these plonked around the place. But they only have 3 slots for incoming or outgoing, so you kind of need a fair few of them. You also have interstellar ones, that's how you get stuff from off-planet. Oh, Lord and Saviour, the main bus. I mean, I'm just completely winging it, Manty. I've got no idea what I'm doing. This is kind of like my petrochemical complex, but also where I'm manufacturing the red cubes, and I've also got... oh, I'm actually out of energy there. We've got... hydrogen fuel rods, and I'm almost at the stage of being able to make deuterium fuel rods as well. So apparently I didn't know I could just control click like that. That's so much. Oh wait, no, not while it's open with another. I've randomly taken things out of the... If you control click with an inventory like that, it will yeah, with another thing open. There we go. It'll do that. There we go, that's what I wanted to do. So, one of the kind of main first phases is getting to the stage where you can start shooting out little solar sails into orbit. Because you can then start harvesting energy more directly from the star. So this is currently I've got these 2 rings of solar sails set up, and producing, it varies a bit because they have a finite lifespan. You have to keep shooting them into space basically, but it's producing around 90-ish megawatts of power, and we're able to utilize not all of that but some of that through these things. But we're also generating a bunch of power locally as well, and these things here are storage batteries to help balance load. So it took a while to get to that stage, but that's kind of the stage where we've kind of snowballed a bit, and I'm now harvesting stuff directly from the gas giant that I'm around. I have stuff coming in. We'll actually fly over there, why not? So we now have the ability to actually fly up into space. And we could go onto the gas giant, but there's not really anything there to see. There's that moon there, which has got some copper and iron, but nothing super interesting. And wow, that really, like when you're accelerating that really drains your... Where is it? Where am I going? Oh, here we go. This is the planet where I'm getting the titanium from. I don't know what happens if you try and fly into the sun. Probably nothing very good. So, you can actually see there the stuff being shipped. Across, and you can see the little pew-pews of the railguns firing out the solar sails. I think they just look like light blobs. Only one way to find out. I'm curious now. What does happen? You might just go into orbit. I don't know. You can't actually physically crash into the planets. It just deorbits you. Right, that just puts me in a very close... Okay. For science! Apparently you just kind of do a slingshot. Right, where's the planet I'm trying to get to? There it is. Right, we're also out of energy at the moment. Hang on. We do still have energy generation, it's just it's expensive to fly around the place and accelerate like that. Apparently you can't really steer. I mean, you maintain your velocity, but trying to steer then uses up your energy. So, awkward. Come on, up, little bit. No, we're doing the embarrassing, elite, dangerous thing. We're having to do the loop of shame or whatever it's called. While I wait for my energy to regenerate. The next step up is, the next thing I'm trying to do is get a fusion going and deuterium fuel rods. Come on! I don't know why my chest glows like Iron Man, by the way. I think that's because I'm low on power? Or does it just like to glow generally? It goes down so fast when you're trying to maneuver. You know, slow right down, that'll make things easier. I think eventually, once you get better fuel sources, you can. That's the point where you can fly to other star systems that are, you know, light years away. Even though you can tell already from looking at the planets that the scale of this game is quite compressed. Shall I turn the Sam cam off, by the way? I think we should. He's not cooperating tonight. I don't even know where he is. He's sulking somewhere because I manhandled him. I dared to impugn his royal person. So yeah, the only things I've really got coming in here from here are titanium and silicon. Silicon you can get by grinding up rock, basically, but it's a very inefficient process. So it's a lot easier to get it from silicon veins, which your starting planet will also never have. And weirdly enough, you can build the early circuit boards without needing silicon. It's only once you get to the more advanced stuff that you start to need silicon. Right, so it doesn't really matter that we're flying at high speeds. You just kind of smack into the ground and it's fine. Right, now I just have to find where my main... Oh, there it is. So this is the setup I've got here, which is basically just logistics, power, and stuff that's churning out titanium. And also some silicon. There's also a bunch of iron and copper here, which we could obviously, you know, export as well. But you can only have a maximum of 10 vessels flying back and forth from each of these stations. So I've just left it as the 2. But yeah, that's you know, once you get to other planets, you can start to access other resources a lot more easily. And there's even things like other sources for no, is that one? Certain rare materials, like diamond, for example, you can make out of obviously carbon, but you can also find kimberlite. Is it kimberlite? Yeah, kimberlite ore in various places. And there's other kinds of rare veins of crystal silicons and I don't know if there's anything else that's like that actually. I think there must be some other... Oh yeah, carbon nanotubes you can find naturally as well. So that's as many materials as I have unlocked and as many buildings as I have unlocked, which you can see is, you know, there's still several tiers left to go at the moment. I'm kind of just researching at the moment. I'm just waiting for various bits of research to complete. Also, how is that not powered? What's going on there? It's a bit weird. Oh, it's just outside that overlap area. Okay, we weren't even producing silicon as efficiently as I could have, but never mind. These you can even just use as storage depots because they have huge capacity, 10,000 units. And in fact, we're not even drawing the titanium in as like we're not using it that quickly at the moment, so the supply is exceeding the demand. But I've got a huge amount of potential storage space going, so that's fine. Right, we're almost powered back up for my flight back. I don't actually think there's anything else I need to do here. I just wanted to demonstrate flying elsewhere and how much neater this setup is, although it's also a lot more basic. I could also potentially set up, like I could have this grab solar sails and actually set up a chain of cannons here at the moment, but I would need to increase my solar sail production. So I think I'm just about covering what I can make on my, air quotes, home planet. Well, let's not use up quite so much energy this time, I guess. Gravity does seem to have an effect in this game, so there does seem to be some fairly decent physics going on. I don't know if that's coming through, but that's Sam at his scratching post. What? I can tell I took my hand off the mouse for a moment there. Yeah, it's a little bit, you know, in terms of flying, it's a bit sensitive. So now we're just gonna smack into the planet at high speed, which is fine. Right, fusion. Fusion is the thing I was going to go for next, because at the moment we're not that far ahead of my actual energy. How much energy I'm using with this setup. I'm going to start producing fusion fuel rods. So we've got hydrogen fuel rods being produced here, which is using hydrogen and titanium, and for fusion fuel rods I believe it's titanium alloy, we need deuterium, and we need supermagnetic rings. Now the supermagnetic rings are all the way over there where they're being manufactured, so I'm basically going to need another storage thing. Hydrogen. Right, deuterium we've got coming in there, so what we'll do is that's off-world deuterium, but it's not a huge amount. We'll probably just have a belt that combines the deuterium here, and we'll have the manufactory down here somewhere. We'll put one of these down as well. This is like the upgraded pylon that's quite complicated to make, but it basically gives power over quite a wide area. So that we will set to make these. So we'll bring that in from there. We'll bring deuterium in from those two sides, and then we're going to need another logistics station, which is planetary logistics station. Do I have enough to make one of those just now? No, I need steel and what is it? I'm not... Oh, probably graphene. Steel and graphene. There's a bunch of stuff I haven't really set up as advanced processes, like advanced manufacture yet. So, oh, no, that's too much. That's more than I wanted. Let's take, say, 2 of those. And then go grab some steel. But bear in mind, you know, this is my very first playthrough of this, and so this is all a complete mess. For anyone that's played like 100 hours already and is just face palming at how utterly inefficient this whole setup is. Right, we'll also actually need some... Don't think I've got any logistics drones set up already. So we're going to need to get some of those built. Oh, iron ingots. We're actually out of iron ingots. The most basic material that there is. Hey, Gitseki. No, I keep control clicking when I don't mean to. It's shift click to do a single stack over, isn't it? Yes. In fact, while I'm here, grabbing basic stuff, let's get some copper as well. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I still have to make in my inventory because I just haven't bothered setting up the relevant kind of processing chains for it. But some of the more complicated things I have, like processors, for example. So one logistics hub, which we'll need to put the drones in, but basically we'll say we want it to get... I could have it grab the deuterium, actually. I could have that. That's a lot closer. What happens if I hit clear and reset? Oh, does it just waste all that deuterium that it couldn't put in my... Oh, it did. Okay. Whoops. It's fine. It's fine. Right, we want it to demand deuterium, and we want it to demand... what was the thing we needed? Supermagnetic rings. Oh crap! Wait, it's wasting the Okay, yeah, I think if you run out of inventory space and use new manufacturing stuff, it will just throw it into the void. So that was excellent. Let's put some of that deuterium in to use as fuel at least, which is complete waste, but it's fine. Right, supermagnetic rings. There. Demand. And we can have it so that it's not trying to fill the entire 5,000 storage, which we don't really want. We'll have it get as much deuterium as it can, though. We can also put that deuterium in there. That's fine. So that's where my titanium alloy is. But we also need another logistics station on the other end, possibly. There we go, my solar cells are going to last a bit longer. Right, I do have this one here, but I think that... Oh, no, that's fine. So we can have that supply supermagnetic rings, but again we'll set that to be quite a low amount, just so we're not totally emptying out the inventory. And do I need to pick up some... Yes. I keep control clicking when I mean to shift click. Brain. Come on now, brain. I might as well upgrade these to the second level of belt, which again I could have automated and didn't, so, you know, face palm away. Right, so what we'll do is have it come off this side, I guess. You can right click to have your drone move around, but it basically has no pathfinding logic whatsoever. So it's a lot easier to use your WASD keys. Right, so we're going to, I guess, come out of the storage. Actually, let's have it come out that side. What is this? Enough? There should be enough space to have it go up. And then we have to bring it over to the logistics station, which I guess we'll do over via this way. Your belts don't cost you any energy. They seem to somehow magically run by themselves. So that's not a thing you ever have to worry about. Oh. What are you making noises at me for, cat? Actually, get a few more of those on the go, why not? In the background. So that's going to feed into that. Now the downside of having belts like this is, you know, you end up with a lot of stuff that's just sat on the belts. And I don't know if there's really any way around that. So that's now going to be getting... Wait, did I set the right... I've just had a horrid thought of, did I set that from the right storage? Which is, if I hadn't, it would be about No, I did not. That's about how well my brain's working at the moment. That's the wrong storage. That's the wrong sort of thing. Okay, brain. Well done. Well done. It's these. These are the ones that we want to take over there. Right. That's fine. And now what we're going to have to do, is because I did set this correctly, is we're going to have to clear off all this belt by just dismantling it and replacing it. Because I am a genius. It's not the first time I've made this sort of mistake, although usually it involves doing a big long belt and then realising I've done it facing the wrong way. Because you can't just click and say, oh, I want this belt to be going this way. No, it entirely depends on how you've laid it down, which direction you've kind of laid it. So it's entirely possible to have to go back and redo hundreds of segments of belts. It's kind of more like Stellaris bobbles in that you're trying to basically, as the name suggests, build a Dyson sphere. Right, so that's fine. That's outputting to there. It's the correct thing. It's fine. They will now start turning up here, or at least they will once I've put these drones in. Of which there should be a few more, but some of them vanished into the ether because, reasons. Now I could try and be fancy and have a single belt handling both kinds of output on from this this logistics station, but I don't think we will be that fancy. Because you can set filters on sorters so they'll only take specific items. Right, so let's make a couple of those. And no, we're okay for power, aren't we? Because I've got that thing there. Forgetting what my own setup is. Ah, right. Sometimes it'll be a bit like, because the curvature of the planets are so ridiculous, you don't necessarily get to put things in how you want. Right, so then we have to set the correct filter, so that will put out deuterium that comes in, and that will put out those. Although we should... I can see why there wouldn't be any deuterium yet, but why aren't we getting any supermagnetic rings coming in? It wasn't even showing any in transit. But that's set to supply. Oh, the belt didn't finish. I flew away before the constructor drones finished building the belt. Technical reasons. Right, there we go. That will now start sending these to that other tower. My research speed is definitely way too low at the moment. I've got some serious bottlenecks that I need to address. So that should start appearing fairly soon out of there, and we'll also get some deuterium coming out of this manufacturing complex over here. Although I might need to build some more of these. I don't know if they'll make enough deuterium to actually keep up with the demand. over, obviously. Sam, what are you doing back there? He's behind the computer. I don't trust him. Come on. Out there. One of these days he's going to decide it's a good idea to play with the power cable. Right, let's actually be patient enough to make sure all of the belts get built this time. Kerbal Minecraft program. It's funny because my first taste of this sort of game really was all those like, was it Tekkit? All those Minecraft mods that involved building all these big chains of machines and automation. Like that was my first taste. That's what got me hooked and made me know that these kinds of games were very dangerous to me. Right, so that deuterium's. Like, this is not a fast way of producing deuterium, and I might need to get some more gas giant harvesters on the go as well, because that's the other place I've got deuterium coming in from. So the last thing is we're going to need the fuel rods coming in. Let's just build that there, actually. It doesn't need to even be that far away. We can just have that go straight across like I demonstrated earlier. So, titanium, which is here. We're going to need a bunch more of these. Actually, let's do that there, that way. By far the shortest distance. Objectively, of anything that needs to travel. Now, I don't know how these will compare to these hydrogen ones, because the hydrogen ones, like if I take that partially used one out and put 4 full ones in, hydrogen ones give me nearly 5 gigajoules of energy, so it's quite a lot. So presumably that's 600 megajoules per 40 megajoules. Oof! That's quite a substantial difference. Okay, that is a very substantial difference. Wowee. So those will give me even more power. Okay, so now that manufacturing line's set up, what we can actually do, kind of the reason why I was doing this, was to set up a mini fusion power station. I don't know how that's different from a, say, maxi fusion power station, but, you know. It's a fusion power station. Because at the moment it's been basically renewables, thermal, which you can basically plug any kind of burnable resource into, and the actual solar sails. So let's... Right, this is the exact same model. There's some weird glitch going on with this visually. Like this thing here, I don't even know what that thing at the end is supposed to be, but yeah. So this is presumably going to produce a fair bit more than the thermal power plants will. I think this only runs on deuterium fuel. 9 megawatts. Now, does that seem worth the energy putting into making it? Because a thermal plant which will run on quite a lot of different... Like these thermal plants here are running straight off hydrogen. That produce 2.16, so you need a fair few of those, but like the amount of energy you have to put into making these deuterium fuel rods, I don't know if this is worth it as a fusion, like as a planetary power source, but as a power source for your mecha, certainly. So maybe I should just let these build up as a power source for my mech and not bother using it for that. I don't know. I might just leave the one plant, because that's using them at quite a slow rate compared to thermal plants. So, you know, once this belt backs up, it'll start, like, we're producing more than we're using from that plant. So I guess we'll leave that as is for the time being. Right, so the other thing I was going to do once I'd got that set up is yeah, speed up what I'm doing with making these yellow cubes. So at the moment the big bottleneck is these organic crystals, which you need refined oil, water and plastic itself is also an oil byproduct, so it needs energetic graphite and refined oil, and you can get energetic graphite from sort of oil production. So I might set up a separate complex just for that, and then set up yet another planetary logistics station over here that's bringing stuff over to where I've got the yellow cubes being manufactured. Because I've got plenty of titanium coming in to make titanium crystals, but yeah, it's the organic crystals that's... fusion also has 100% energy efficiency. Okay, well, I guess that's also, you know, a big step up from thermal plants. So, what I'm going to do is find another oil area, which is not difficult. There's plenty of them around, and... does it really matter how much? These two are actually quite close together. We'll just use this one, it's fine. We're basically going to set up a whole bunch of refineries. Run through the process where you make carbon. I've actually got one set up. Where is it? Don't think it's that one there. That's just a primary stage refinery. There's two different refinery processes. You can turn the crude oil into refined fuel and hydrogen, but then you can also refine that further. I think it's this one over here, where I've got these two stages. Actually just checking on this, how this is doing. So yeah, basically you can increase your hydrogen output. So we've got this primary trio of oil refineries, and then this second one is taking in some of the fuel that first lot's producing, and it's taking in the hydrogen, but it's also it's then putting out energetic graphite and more hydrogen. It puts out more hydrogen than it puts in when it uses up refined fuel. So I'm just going to do that setup basically, but over here, and geared towards producing organic crystals. In fact, we could probably even set some more of these up. No, I did say that already, didn't I? Because it's a slow process for making deuterium from hydrogen. But I suspect I will do that later. Right, where was I going to... It's here, wasn't it? So put that down there, and might as well use one of these while I've got it built. And do I have enough to make a logistics station on hand? Just. So I basically want a whole bunch of refineries, and then I'm going to need some chemical plants as well. So this is going to take up a fair bit of space actually. I might not have picked the best spot to do this. but we can always just run belts over to wherever. You can also do terraforming. There's a way of flattening things. Not that these planets are anything but flat anyway, but you can extend land out into watery areas. Right, so we need how many refineries am I going to need? Oh, I can only make 2 at the moment. We're definitely going to need more than that. Right, so I need steel and I need prisms. Sam, there's quite a comfy cat bed, you know. You don't just have to sulk on the floor. But what do I know? It's inscrutable cat logic. Actually, I might as well grab some stuff from over here while I am at it. Some more advanced materials. I think I've got plenty of those. Oh, I did that thing again, didn't I? Oh. Have we frozen, or is it saving? I think it was just having a think there. Right. Have we not got enough? Oh, have we not got enough? I need magnetic coils as well. Which again is another thing I do actually have set up to be manufactured. Right, and then we'll definitely need, oh, probably a whole bunch of chemical plants, so glass and concrete, those require. And glass. Comfy cat bed is playing on the computer. Yeah, he's probably. Hang on, we'll see if he's probably gonna, like, the moment I move the thing, he's gonna be like, "Oh, you're doing something, human." I don't know, man. Just cats. Just cats. Are you alright there, Sam? Are you alright there? Yeah, well, you know, it is what it is. It's a strange cat beast. Yeah, he's a big pile of upside down fluff at the moment. Science cannot explain why. He's not fat, he's just fluffy. It's very fluffy. It's his winter coat. Right, we might need more of those. Right, so we need the first chain of refineries to make... I think I've actually set that up on the wrong side. Let's set it up on a side where there's more room to grow. More room to put things down. He's a cat, he has no dignity or shame. Right, so, how are we going to put this down? Meh, what? So, 3 first stage plants go down there. Oh, okay, now you've decided you're going to go behind the computer again. Come on! Look, go on the bed. If I get some treats, will you go on the bed? Or will you just eat the treats and then jump off the bed again? He's got personality. Too much personality, some might argue. Come on! Treats! Cat treats! Yeah, you know what those are. So, on the bed. On the bed. He is well versed in being a cat. That's certainly true. Bathrobe. I'll have you know, it's a dressing gown. We're very posh in the UK. We don't have bathrobes or housecoats. We have dressing gowns. Also, it's cheaper to put... This is very Scottish of me. It's cheaper to put another layer on than it is to turn the heating up. Very, very, very Scottish of me indeed. Right, so... That will... Actually, we'll use a splitter for this, I guess. We'll probably use a couple of splitters here. Which you can use alongside the sorters. Silk dressing gown. Oh, that sounds a bit posh. Bit too posh, really. Also, I don't know how long that would stay nice with there being, you know, a cat in play. Right, so... it's fine. We'll have that go to... I guess the second one. I do wish there was a bit more variety with the kinds of splitters that you like. This is the only one I've gotten so far, and I don't know if there's some other variety you can get. Oh god, nobody wants to see me model silk underwear, good lord. Or any kind of underwear. The world is unprepared for such a sight. Just make sure we've got enough of these. Oh god. What have I created? Chats plus stop. Right, so what we are going to end up with. Did I build that? Did I get that logistics station set up? We'll put that over to one side, I guess. So we'll have some overflow of we won't use all the petroleum doing this. And that too is going to need some drones, isn't it? Which we can have build in the background just now. So we want to put down the secondary lot of... Just make sure there's enough space. What's the matter? Do you demand even more treats? Samuel. Right, so we're going to need I guess a splitter for the... How am I going to do this? If I feed it into a storage tank. That might be the easiest way of doing it. Well, yeah, no, the hydrogen can go straight in, and then we'll have the petroleum go via a storage tank. So the hydrogen we can just get straight out through a splitter. And just trying to think what the best way to do this would be. So they'll all feed in there. This will be hydrogen coming out, which will go into these. Actually, I probably should have put these the other way around. That would have been more sensible. Ooh, so those 3 ports at the front are actually facing that way. Of course, now I have to actually reset the recipe, but it still remembers the copied recipe, so I can just hit the paste button, which is fine. I think if Sam was demanding anyone bought anything, he'd be demanding toys and cat treats for him. He wouldn't want you to spend money on me. He'd want things for him. He's a cat, for goodness sake. Right, so what we'll do is we'll then say, and we'll filter that, so this is hydrogen only coming out on these belts. Oh, that's the wrong way. You can change the direction of stuff that's already laid down, but it's a bit of a tedious process. So it's only putting out the hydrogen, and that's then flowing into these. That's fine. And then, as far as the other stuff goes, how are we going to get that out? Well, that's easy enough on this side. I'll just use the faster belts, why not? I've got materials to make loads of those. Then this one's the slightly tricky one, but I guess we'll just do the same. Have it feed into that elevated belt. One further back than that. So this is going to be the petroleum output. That's now going into that feeder tank, and we can use that to put the petroleum input into here, but we're also going to be producing more petroleum than these will use. So we can probably then have that petroleum go over here at some point. Also we can put the... why have I got 13 drones there? Oh, I made some drones for that other thing over there and never put them in, but never mind. It can just be an odd number of drones. Right, we're also going to need some kind of helium output tank here as well, I think. So I do have some, you know, like the research is going. It's just taking such a long time because we have that that bottleneck with the organic crystals. So right, we need to get petroleum now into these. So what we can actually do is have a 2 levels. We can actually stack these 4-way splitters. So that could basically just come out. Although the process of it's a bit finicky. Oh, that needs to be up by 2. Okay. I'm sure they will. Well, I hope they will come up with neater tools for doing this stuff later, because at the moment it's definitely a bit on the fiddly side. So that's feeding into that splitter there. So we can have that. Say come down over here. Feed in there. What are you doing, Statinius? Should I be worried? Doesn't... Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's very much like the gameplay loop is the same as a lot of these other games, but it's the end goal that's particularly kind of notable, and the scale. Is that... No, that's not... I need it to be... Or you know what, we could actually just shift that. That's fine. Just need to move that belt then slightly. I think I would have pulled in that little bit of hydrogen, but that's okay. Now this is the point where it gets a bit annoying. Sometimes the curvature of the planet or the terrain deformation means that even though it looks like it should be able to go, it will not. I'll have to set that up with one of the front ports then, I guess. Or will that... Can we persuade that to go in there? Okay. Yes, we can. So that's going to go there apparently. That's fine. And then so basically these things by default equally distribute whatever's coming into them. So they're very, very useful for situations like this where you've got a certain amount of resources that you want to be going in a certain direction. Why is that? Oh, because the hydrogen's backed up. Right, but that's fine. We're about to start the second line of production going. The fuel coming out, so we'll actually start using some of the hydrogen, and then we'll get our output hydrogen into here. We'll get the output energized carbon into a storage over on this side, and then we'll start setting up our chemical plants. Finding a suitably regal dressing gown for my... Oh, good lord. Oh dear, okay. It's gone back to not cooperating, so let's save the real estate and turn that off for now. Well, you know, I don't, like, should I be scared? Also, see you, AGC, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you've been enjoying my adventures in efficiency. Right, so... it's fine. You can have things like hydrogen and crude oil, like they can go into the kind of dry storage, but the liquid storage tanks are much more space efficient with how much they can hold, basically. Right, so this is hydrogen. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it yet. Possibly just have this take in hydrogen. And have that act as a hydrogen supply. The main thing we'll want out of this is... well, I suppose we'll... those are the three goods that are going to be coming out here. Plastic we're going to be keeping local. Because we're going to be using the plastic to make the organic crystals. Right, so we want... how do I want to do this? Get stuff to come over to that input over there. That's fine. Oh, that's not too far. I'll get another bunch of those belts on the go. You want me to game in splendid style? Okay. I have to say, this dressing gown, I've had it for, like, this is like over 10 years old now, I think. It's lasted very well. Right, so there's the carbon. Oh, I did that wrong apparently. So, because these are... I kind of explained this already, because these are filtered, only the one thing will ever come out of them. Actually, we can set that more centrally, so it will go in more efficiently. That's fine. How am I doing for mech energy? That's loads, okay. That's now accumulating that. So now we need to get the chemical plants down. So we're probably going to need 3 chemical plants just to make the plastic. Where should we build those? Here's probably got the least travel time in terms of... actually, here we go. So you can reclaim some land from the water, but it can get a bit expensive. But you've got this kind of invisible stockpile of soil that you accumulate when you're putting things down, so there's usually plenty to use for that. Invisible stockpile of soil as a band name. Okay. So we're going to have fuel going from here into these, and then also that, and then they're all going to be outputting plastic, and then we will put the plastic into can probably build 3 of these. Should be enough for 2 organic things, and I can maybe expand that off screen if it's insufficient. Actually, we need to split it here as well, don't we? Well, I don't know if we necessarily need one, but I'm going to put down one just for efficiency's sake. Is that going to be able to... Yes, that's fine. That will output into this. And then I think we're producing more than enough energetic carbon. I mean, I can always set up more of these using this hydrogen. I could even set some of these primary ones up, because I don't think we're using... Like, we're not exactly straining this crude oil source at the moment. So, again, shall we just stack a splitter? Why not? Oh, no, that's... I'm trying to go from there, that's why that's a bit wonky. That's definitely not the most space efficient, or the neatest setup with the space I've got, but you know, as long as it's functional, don't care too much if it looks pretty, which is probably, like, for some players of games like this, is probably just heretical. Oh, we're actually almost out. Going to go and need to get some more materials to make more of those soon. So that goes in there, that goes in there, goes in there. Oh, that doesn't count as... Okay. Right, so that's now got incoming, so now we need... do I even need storage for the outgoing here? Probably not. Yeah, that's indeed so very helpful, Stettinius. I can see why you were popular. Right, let's build the organic crystal doodads over on this side. And we also need a water pump, which I forgot about. Right. Oh, that's not actually connected. Hang on. That's why it's flashing red at me. So water pump will build there. So now we need to get plastic. Right, I think I need to go and get more belt constructing materials. Well, what you should do, Stethinius, is you should get a cat and then you'll get some measure of what your friends experienced. Only, you know, kind of non-verbally. Although in the case of Sam, he's actually quite verbal, so I'm not sure non-verbal really counts. I got some random hydrogen in there, I don't know. Stick it in as a fuel source. Right. He is so chatty. Like even when my friends were able to come over, I would always comment on just how chatty he is. Actually, do we have enough to make some of the really speedy belts? Which are quite expensive because they use graphene. And those super magnetic ring doodads. What I could do is I could have the green belts come out this bit. In fact, we might as well just use blue belts for the lot. Unfortunately, if you change your mind about what kind of belt you're going to use, you can actually replace just by clicking over, which I think was only, that was a thing that only got added relatively recently, so that was a nice little quality of life thing that they did. So basically, the only reason to have the fastest belts in a lot of situations is it just kind of minimises the transit time of your stuff. Just let my drones put all that down. And then we'll have another splitter set up here to distribute those. And just, you know what, just for the sake of neatness, we'll do exactly the same with the water as well. Though I'm sure that's probably entirely unnecessary. I think we'll have this go up. Although there's plenty of inputs on these, so actually I don't know why I'm trying to be so kind of neat about it, but I can at least run stuff under there if I have to. In fact, you know what? Why am I doing that? There is no reason. I can have even more things with it. The Mark III is the fastest one, and that's the one that's like you can upgrade to the best version kind of thing, but it's also the most expensive version. So it's a pity you can't upgrade the lower versions a bit. But sadly, that doesn't seem to be an option. Actually, we can use the green belts for this stuff. They're a lot less expensive to make. Right, so water. Just go straight into the splitter. Actually, I need to have that step down before that point. I can hear rustling, it worries me. What are you rustling, salmon? Salmon? What? Brain? He's not a fish. He's not made of salmon. Okay, Brain. Oh, there's the wrong one, so it's a blue. I don't know what my subconscious was trying to tell me there, but it was a bit weird. Right, so that is water going in. And plastic coming out. Oh, apparently that's just outside the power area. Whee! Yeah, the fastest belts really do send things very quickly. Right, and then we have the organic crystals. Hello, Sam, coming out of these into... Meow. What? What? I don't know what the matter is, but you know, clearly whatever it is, it's very important, and he has to tell me about it. I mean, it was a tin of tuna I cracked open earlier. It wasn't salmon at all, so I don't know. No, why did that go to the middle one? That's great, the middle one's fine. Right, so, oh, we need petroleum as an input as well. No, Sam, don't. I forgot about that. Right, hang on, this stuff's probably going to be in the way then, isn't it? Also need petroleum as an input for the... I forgot. It's forgotten! I'm going to make sure we can actually get that in... Yeah, they're a bit of a fiddle to make these, and then, you know... This is all just so I can make titanium crystals a bit faster. Right, do I need another primary refinery. Maybe. So make sure we have enough petroleum output. Possibly. Let's just build one to be on the safe side. Right, we can make use of that belt that's there already. And it's not maybe the most efficient way of doing it, but we'll just have... This is where I wish you could have splitters that had more outputs. So let's put in hydrogen, and then we need... I left myself enough room. Sam! Leave the cables alone! Come on, out of there! Out? Yes, you! Well, how about if I put on your laser thing? Go play with the twirly laser thing, Samuel. Have I screwed myself? Maybe. Let's put this the other way around. Nope, wrong one. Right, so then we can have... Okay, yes, this works. So we can have that there, and then... That can go in there. This is increasingly starting to look like a lot of my other setup, which is just starts off looking relatively neat, and then it's like, oh, maybe I'll just cram one more thing in here, and I'll just cram one more thing in here, and another thing in here. Right, so that was all, so we have more petroleum coming through, which... what's the best way? I guess we'll just have it coming out of this tank. Which now we've got extra input will definitely be outputting more than enough. We'll also definitely have a surplus of hydrogen as well. Oop. Wrong button. I did wonder for a long time if tanks and storages also acted like the splitters, but they don't in terms of splitting up multiple outputs. So one has to be a bit careful. Also, considering I've got this hydrogen coming out of here, I could actually have the hydrogen feeding back into this system, because at the moment the hydrogen flow from these is a little inconsistent. Anyway, but my main thing is getting petrol? Refined oil, whatever the game wants to call it, over in this direction. Right, bring that to there. And what's a very awkward looking setup, but you know, as long as it works. And then that can come out here. Right, so finally that should start outputting organic crystals, and now we can figure out how to actually get them into the logistics hub. That should work a-okay. There we go. Can I have that feed directly into that, or is that just gonna... Oh, no, yes, that will work fine. That's absolutely hunky-dory. So that's taking in organic crystals. So now we need a thing at the other end that's going to go, oh, hey, organic crystals, I'll have those. Which involves another logistics hub, so I need titanium and particle containers. Is it graphite I'm running low on? So why do I have random refined oil and crude oil and whatever? Whatever, just bung it in the burner. Right, titanium. Where's my titanium working? I can't remember. Oh, wait, there's titanium. Right. I was right next to the titanium. Well done, me. And what was the other thing I needed? I've forgotten already. It was going to be... it'll be those little green motor things. These ones here. Right, so if I plonk that down around here. Well, actually, no, on this side it'll be a little easier. Oh, and we need, of course, more of the, more of those. All just so I can get some extra, you know, extra research going. All of that just for some faster research. And of course, I'm sure the more advanced research cubes, because there's like 2 extra levels on top of that, I'm sure they will be even more of a faff. But I don't think we'll be doing that this evening. I think we're probably drawing to a close on this once I get this set up. Come on, build the thing! Sadly, there's no upgrades on building or, building stuff in the replicator quicker. Right, there we go. That is built. Somehow squeeze that in there. I think one of these for a single resource feels a bit daft, but the alternative is to run a huge long amount of conveyor, long distance of conveyor belt, which would be even dafter. So that's going to demand, and that's now being shipped over, so we can just get this going straight from here into this storage, which is kind of like the distribution point. There we go, and that should get me a much steadier supply of those research things. I'll stick some of those in. I might have something else come in or out of this at some point now that I've put it down. So there we go. In fact, I think I've got some... I don't know if this is going to be enough to have all of these research complexes going at once, but we'll see. That should definitely speed up my research some. I'm kind of on the edge of needing the next level of ones anyway, the purple ones. Some of these I can queue up. Inventory capacity. Even more construction drones. I mean, these are all just the mech upgrades. There's other stuff available as well. So that now all should research a bit faster. In theory. And if I even have enough to keep these supplied, which we can even check through this, organic crystal input versus how much is being eaten by these machines. Production 42 versus consumption 33, so what we can in fact do is maybe even set up another manufactory here. Somehow squeeze one into the mess that is this space. As if it wasn't messy enough already. But that's half the fun of this game, of thinking, oh yeah, I've built enough, and then suddenly it's like, oh no, that's not enough at all. And now I must somehow squeeze even more in. So Da-da-da-da. I'm just going to do the kind of slightly cheesy method of using some grabbers, some sorters to move the stuff over to where I want it to be. Actually, yeah, that side's fine, I guess. And this will get my research going even faster. Hopefully. Actually, I should probably make that a basic one so it's not stripping the other one of supply. Oh, as long as that's kept topped up, I suppose. I don't know. We'll see how quickly it runs through them. I'll probably come back and fine-tune this all a bit later. Right, so now we just need to have this output. We should be hunky-dory. There we go, so now we're producing even more of those, and that'll produce even more of the glowy yellow cubes. And it's probably still not enough, but you know. It's better than I was doing before, and I'll certainly do more with this over here as well. If nothing else, we're definitely producing more hydrogen than I need. So, I think that's probably a good place to wrap this up. I've kind of done the things I wanted to do on stream. I think I've demonstrated what the game is fairly well. There's way more advanced stuff beyond this. I mean, I've not even started on shooting the Dyson sphere components into space, which I've got the very most basic level of those available now. The kind of lightweight framework. Where are we? So yeah, these things, frame material and frame components, I can now make these, but they are quite expensive. I think I then just need to start shooting them into space, or I don't know if there's some extra step beyond that, but yeah, I guess I'll find out. So that's been Dyson Sphere Program, which is quite addictive, as these games tend to be, and I like the scope of it. You know, that's one of the things that always held me back with stuff like Factorio, is there wasn't particularly... It didn't seem like there was a particularly tangible end goal, as opposed to just build the stuff to build more stuff to build more stuff. Whereas in this case, you are going for, you know, a Dyson Sphere. It's a big, huge project, and it's kind of cool to see a game that has that kind of scale of stellar engineering as its end goal. So, if you missed any of it, it'll be up on YouTube, and that's about it, really. Hopefully you've all enjoyed watching, and I'll catch you next time.